Echo 3 to Echo 7. Echo 3 to Echo 7. Hano, buddy. Do you read me?
Welcome back, Battalion. It is that time again. We are talking about the WAMPACRON. We've got the Wampa lover right over here. This is ReeKeePea. If you don't know ReeKeePea, I'm going to have his information down. He is one of the 5 in the battalion. ReeKeePea, thanks for joining me. It's about time we got together to talk about Wamps.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, Mort. This is one of my favorite characters that I use a lot, so super happy to talk about
What do you mean, one of? What? It... Whatever it is, we have this discussion all the time, guys. Check out this new OMICRON look. This is tight. This is one of the best things that I think they've had in here in a long time. So really excited about it. All right, sorry about that. I had to pause for a second, guys. All right, we're going to talk about Wampa, and we're actually going to start with the OMICRON. ReeKeePea had a good idea. Let's talk about the OMICRON first. Now, keep in mind, there's 2 completely different ways to mod Wampa, whether you've got the OMICRON or you do. I already put a video out there already for the base Wampa, but we're going to talk about how to do the OMICRON Wampa. And guys, seriously, this thing is, to me, the best OMICRON in the game right now. It is absolutely insane. And I've got proof that you can take out full Relic 7, well, almost full Relic 7. I did it in Grand Arena on GG. General Grievous going down hard. What are you taking down, ReeKeePea?
General Grievous as well, high relic, like Phoenix teams, or I mean, Wampa was already taking Phoenix down, but with even high relic, it's super easy. A couple of Mon Mothma combination as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like the turn meter with Pow and Cara Dune and everything, it should take down Mon Mothma teams as well. But no, it's being used a lot now since they added that OMICRON. It's pretty fun.
Also being used to take down a solo C.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
or I even saw full team.
Did you
of
really?
C.
Yeah.
But not the strongest team, but
right,
still
a weak team. Not well put together, 100%. All right, let's talk about this. Music's a little loud. Let me crank it down a little bit. All right, so this is the OMICRON, guys. First of all, you need to know you got to put the Zeta on her, him, whatever it is. I'm never going to get it right. So you got to put the Zeta on in order to get the OMICRON, so keep that in mind. So it is the one on Cornered Beast. Wampa gains in Grand Arena from the OMICRON. Gains 100% tenacity if there are no other active allies at the start of battle. AKA, to get the benefit, you have to solo. You can't bring anything else in.
Actually, not exactly. You gain 100% tenacity to start with, regardless.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I read that wrong.
Yep.
You're right. See, that's why I bring on a guest. Word me harder.
Correct. And then if there's no active allies, so if you are alone, if Wampa is alone, then you gain 75% defense, max health, max protection, and offense. And it's even doubled if the other opponent is alone as well, right? So if you're alone and the opponent is alone, in like the example you just said earlier, it's a solo C.
Yeah.
Well, you get 150% of defense, max health, max protection, and offense.
That's a lot of stats. God, that's a lot of stats. Oh my God, I'm so glad we went into this. Whenever Wampa is damaged by an attack, inflict 2 stacks of damage over time, which she already does that on her basic, right?
Correct. And we'll see why that helps as well later on because of some of her other abilities.
Okay. So inflict 2 stacks damage over time for 3 turns on attacking enemy, which can't be evaded or resisted. The cooldown of Furious Foe is reduced by 1 and gain plus 30% tenacity stacking until the end of the encounter. This is a lot.
That last part is super, super important, right? So you have 50% tenacity to start with. Then you add the 100% just because you have the OMICRON. So you're at 150 to start without modding. No mods, you're at 150. Then every time that Wampa will counter, it will stack that 30%. So very, very quickly, you'll get over 200, 300% tenacity quickly early in the game.
So if you can get through the initial barrage of anything with Dacha, be okay. Like I went down, I tried it against a Mon Mothma team and got absolutely smoked within like 20 seconds because I hadn't stacked it up yet. Plus I had bad mods on. I hadn't remodded my Wampa yet. I was just testing her out, but yeah. So the fact that you start with 150% tenacity does not mean that you need to put tenacity away in your modding, right? You still want some tenacity, get the Wampa up, just like you said, to get through that first wave of debuffs, right? To make sure you don't get daze or buff immunity or stuff like that applied on the first attack. It's kind of like when DR's got to be faster than DR. If you're not the faster DR, it's harder to win. But you can do it, but it's harder to win. So it's the same concept. So the basic part of her kit here without the Omicron was Wampa has plus 50% counter chance. Wampa has plus 10% counter chance, plus 5% health steal, and 5% offense for each damage over time on each enemy. So my question to you, ReeKeePea, going back to the basic, because it says here that she's dropping 2 stacks of damage over time for 3 turns. Is that stacking with this one on the basic?
Yeah, well, every time, from my understanding, every time you get hit and you counter, you get the 3, and then because you're using the basic to counter, you get another another 2, right? Is it one damage over time? So
right.
Yes, I believe they do stack. If I remember correctly.
Too. I do believe that as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The basic deals physical damage to target enemy, inflict 1 damage over time for 2 turns. If the target was exposed or staggered, stun them for 1 turn. If the target was debuffed, gain 20% turn meter. Now here's part of that thing, right? Because she's already debuffing from the Omicron, so instantly we're getting turn meter, right?
Yep, exactly.
Right off the bat, you're getting turn meter constantly because she's constantly got dots out there. If Wampa isn't debuffed, gain 20% turn meter. Tenacity, obviously, in the kit, so she's going to be going even faster. This is why in a minute we're going to talk about she doesn't need a whole lot of speed. This attack cannot be evaded. This attack has 100 plus 100% offense against rebel targets. Love this.
So this is where the dots and the tenacity will come into play to make sure that you you don't need her Wampa to be that fast, but you still need to be sort of fast to make sure you get a quick turn, right? Exactly, because you need to get that icebreaker ability up quickly. Because not only this will dispel, but it'll get you protection up, which is super important. So it just says gain protection up 150%, but that is, if I remember correctly, 150% of your health, of your max health.
Yes.
So the more you're healthy, the more health Wampa has, the more protection up you will have over here.
Did you guys? I'm sorry. As you see right here, if a unit has a 10,000 max health and receives protection up 40%, the protection up will gain is another 4,000 damage. So you guys see, all protection up is based off of max health. This is something that gets forgotten a lot. So this is where health's going to come into this kit, which we're going to get into when we get to the modding.
Exactly, and this is important, right? Because you want Wampa to stay alive. Because every time Wampa gets attacked, Wampa counters, right? And every time you counter, you get more stacking stats as well. So the more protection you have, the more you stay alive. The more you stay alive, the more you counter. And that's where, as the battle moves along, Wampa will just get stronger and stronger.
Stronger and faster and harder to hit. Yep. I mean, you can't hit her with debuffs at some point when the tenacity is stacked up so much. So
exactly.
And this ability is great too, because it not only does it throw up that massive amount of protection up, but you get the days out of this as well. So that, I'm not going to say that you should throw a ton of potency on there, but potency does help, because this is not, while you can't evade it, it still takes potency to drop it.
Yep, and you know, when you hit like Mon Mothma teams or High Relic Phoenix or even General Grievous with the B1 assist, if you hit that daze, well, it'll just help you, get less damage when you attack.
I think I just figured out where it's coming from. I have a sound coming through my web browser once in a great while, like a commercial. I don't know what's going on.
One of the tabs probably.
It does it every time that I record a video anymore, I swear. All right, Furious Foe. Inflict healing immunity on all enemy turns for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. Wampa gains 40% accuracy, 40% critical chance, 40% offense, all stacking until the end of the encounter. Wampa gains more turn meter, 15% turn meter for each defeated ally and each active enemy. This ability starts on cooldown. Now, obviously, when she's in a solo, the turn meter for defeated ally isn't going to help you here, but she is gaining turn meter on each active enemy. So.
Right, and also remember that the Omicron will reduce the cooldown of this Furious Foe. So you will see you'll actually slap that ability more than the AoE gaining protection up. Right? So every time you counter, the cooldown of Furious Foe reduced by 1. So very, very easily you'll get Furious Foe available to use almost every time it's your turn. So very easily you'll stack up offense because it's 40% offense, 40% critical chance as well. So you'll be stacking up, and that's where Wampa will start hitting harder and harder every time you hit the Furious Foe.
And the Furious Foe is a 4 cooldown, but I swear it feels like it comes up every other turn when I'm doing her against GG.
Absolutely, yep. It's almost always available.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Last one, Howling Rage. If I remember right, this is the other Zeta? Is that right?
Yeah. No, I believe it's Furious Foe.
No, it's Furious Foe. It's Furious Foe.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's for the inflict healing immunity on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. So that's a clutch one as well. Howling Rage, while Wampa has protection up, we want that protection up. Has plus 20% counter chance, plus 50% offense, and plus 50% tenacity. So we're getting more tenacity out of the kit.
So as soon as you hit that Icebreaker ability to get protection up, you'll be able to have 200% tenacity base to start with, right? That's just how you started as soon as you hit that protection up. So that's why protection up is also important to try and get it up and running fast, which we were talking about speed earlier. You don't need Wampa to be super fast, but you still want Wampa to be able to get that protection up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm showing the video now of my Wampa taking on Grievous, and it's disgusting because you can tell the difference. She starts hitting, and she'll take Magna down pretty quickly, Magna Guard. You run into problems with Droideka because when he goes under damage immunity, and then Grievous, of course, passes over that mark, so you really can't do anything with it. So it gets a little bit iffy sometimes, but my Wampa was modded incorrectly because I didn't have time to remod her, but I knew I wanted that Omicron. I read the kit, and I went, this is amazing. Still beat all but one Grievous, and the one Grievous I didn't beat was a high Relic team with a Relic 3 Wampa, and I ended up going solo against GG, so I was able to clean it up. With a correctly modded Wampa, GG does not stand a chance.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
they can't touch her.
No, it'll just, I mean, even if when Droideka goes into damage immunity there, it's just a question of time, right?
Yeah.
Because Wampa will just get the protection up, survive, you'll stack up offense.
They can't drop dots on you. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you see Furious Foe, I've been looking, like, you keep spamming Furious Foe because it's always available.
Yeah. It's always there.
You're just hitting like crazy.
There it is again. And then we're countering with the basic, which is just, it's basically the whole kit's working on itself. If there was any, and I shouldn't even say this out loud, but if there's anything that needs to be nerfed, it'd be this crazy. I mean, this is amazing, man. And the one thing I want to point out, guys, is by having this one Omicron, you are now eliminating the need for a team. You've got a solo, which is going to get you better banners, and this isn't the only team you can do it with, like we talked about earlier. And I also recommend you should be using your Grievous once it makes it Relics anyway on offense, because it can take out weak JML teams. I've even taken out good JML teams. It can take out C. It can take out so many things. So you have no business putting GG on defense almost anymore. So Wampa is pretty much eliminating the need for that. I love that. And you can see that was the easy win for 68.
Absolutely. And you said it was not even modded properly, and it still got it super easily without even being close to being dangerous. So, and yeah, I mean, I'm super happy to be able to eliminate a GG team with a Wampa, and then it keeps me my JKR or my Imperial Troopers or my gas for something else. Yep.
I use Bando now currently, but now I've switched away from that. I'm gonna have to learn to use Bando somewhere else because Wampa she's my GG killer. It's amazing to be able to take out that team one shot. All right. Absolutely. So at the time I had 58,000 when I lost to a Relic 7 GG with her. But like I said, it ended up being a 1-on-1. It was Droideka that ended up causing me problems, and then GG got one big shot on me. Anyway, let's talk about the modding, ReeKeePea.
Yep. So main thing, health. Yeah, that's where you want to start, right? Just because, as we said earlier, that protection up will be based on your health. So you'll need a good percentage of health. So primary health triangle, primary health arrow, primary health cross, I think as well that you can get. Right.
So circle, arrow, triangle, and cross all can get health, and then of course your diamond and your square can only be offense and defense. So you're stuck with that. For me, my recommendation is either 6 health mods or 4 health mods with 2 tenacity, depending on where you sit, because you do want to start out. My recommendation is if you can get to 100k health, go with all health mods. If you cannot get to 100k health, I would go with 4 health mods and 2 tenacity in order to make her more survivable. And you can see mine's at 82k right now. I do not have the health mods to get there, but look at the speed, 185. I don't need it. Potency, a little additional. Tenacity, some additional. I got 27%. I didn't even worry about damage. Why didn't I worry about damage, ReeKeePea? Because she's hitting so many times that I'm not concerned about it one bit.
Exactly. She'll be ranking up offense, really, right? So you just want her to survive to be able to counter and just rank up the offense, and in time she'll just hit like a truck. Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't need to go in and try like stack up offense, crit damage, everything else, and try to take everything out quickly. When she will survive the fight. If you can, like we said, you can get through that initial barrage,
she will survive the fight. You can't kill her at some point. She's going to stack up like Nihilus, where she's just impossible to kill at some point.
Yep, and you still want a bit of tenacity, right? As we said earlier, because you need to get that protection up in order to really get a high tenacity. But until you start countering, until you get the protection up, you're sort of vulnerable. Wampa is sort of vulnerable to that first wave of attack. So if you get hit with daze or buff immunity or stuff like that in the first wave of attack, you might get in trouble with the Wampa. So that's why just a bit of tenacity. I'm running on 98% tenacity base right now.
Yeah.
So I start the battle at almost 200. So I think maybe just a bit over. Like if you get a 100% base tenacity, I think you'd be good to start with. But it's not the most crucial thing. Health is still the most crucial thing, but a bit of tenacity will definitely help you out, especially if you want to use Wampa against those Omicron Ideen Versio team.
Yes.
That gets crazy potency to start with. So
yeah, there's a lot of damage, a lot of output, a lot of assist in there. So if they can wear her down through that bonus protection, you're gone.
Yep.
You got to make sure that you are really stacked up. And like you said, my goal is 100k health on her. I think that makes her just about unbeatable. But again, I beat that full Grievous team with a 58k health pool. So, and keep in mind, guys, again, it's bonus protection comes off that health pool. The other thing that I'm going to recommend, so on my chart that you guys will see at the end of the video, it'll show in this order priority for secondaries: health, followed by offense, followed by tenacity, followed by potency, followed by defense, followed by speed. Those are what I recommend. Do you see anything else on top of that? I don't see a need for protection, crit damage. I mean, if you could fit crit damage in, great, but I just don't see it. Health is more important.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, health is more important. She will stack up that critical. Is it critical damage or chance that stacks up again? It's I'm trying to remember
chance
here.
Stacks 50%.
Critical chance, right?
Yeah. So that's why I was saying the critical damage could help in there if you could find a way to get on the triangle. If you get to 90k and then put critical damage on the triangle at the same time, I'd probably consider it, to be honest, because she will hit like a truck. Zeta Priority, this is 100% for both guys. And if you're going to do the Omicron, you've got to... I'm a big fan of having both Zetas on her anyway, but then with the Omicron with it, obviously it's needed. Relic Priority, I now put her at a perfect 10. For me, what do you think about Relic Priority for her? You're going to do the Omicron, she's got to be Relic, guys.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just because I love the Omicron, I brought Wampa to Relic 7 right away, just because it's going to be so useful. So definite Relic Priority, as high as possible.
What about speed minimum? I'm going with 180 plus.
I'd say 200 minimum, at least. You still want to be there somewhere. Like I said, if they wear you down too quickly, you might get in trouble. So you need to sort of have some speed at least to go first. Not to go first, but to eventually go.
I think there's a little science to actually figure it out, because again, she is gaining a lot of turn meters. So, excuse me, I had to burp. I think that's all I got for the rest. Anything else you want to add on top of that, ReeKeePea?
Well, you know what? This is a perfect example on how you can add one little thing to a character and make it super fun for the game. That little Omicron part just made Wampa super fun to everybody, accessible to everybody as well, right? Wampa, it's not like it's a legendary character that you need to get more characters to have Wampa available, right? So it's little thing that makes the game even more fun just because of one little change.
That's 100%. She is so much fun. You see how excited I was in that video. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all. ReeKeePea, thanks for joining me for this. I knew this was the guy I had to talk to 100%. Don't forget, guys, hit that follow button. I appreciate you. ReeKeePea is also on YouTube and on Twitch, so his information will be down below with the rest of the battalion. Just go to that link and you can find all 5 of us. So in the meantime, we are 1 battalion strong. Thanks, ReeKeePea.
Thanks, Mark.
Womps. Womps. ReeKeePea.
Womp.
Relic, your Wampa. Oh, wait a minute. He is Relic. That's the first guy you do, wouldn't it?
Wampa?
Yeah.
No, it's not the first Relic I had.